All set. So we get those alerts off. Good morning, everyone. It is Trending Thursday. We're on a little bit earlier because we got kind of a crazy schedule later on. So we decided, why not? Let's go early. Good morning, everyone. This is Kira, so aka Naughty Bus, live with two.
This does. Good morning, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. Obviously haven't made it in the shower yet, but that's okay. We show up authentically us, and that's the beauty about what we do, because we have this passion to share. And if we, I was thinking about this this morning. If we had not started when we did, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect moment, the right equipment, we would have never gotten started. And I think that's what's trending, is just to start it. If you want to do something, do it.
Absolutely. And you have to, we talk about manifesting those feelings all the time and putting it out there, block out the noise. There's so much noise going on in the world. And it's out of our control. Like, we cannot, the tweets, the alerts, the, breaking news. And it always has a way of impacting our brain in not such a good way. So how do you combat that? What's trending to kind of get away from the noise and focus on the good things, the abundance, the positive things that are going on in the world, because there are many positive things. And somehow, I don't know whether it's fear of not knowing, fear of missing out, fear of not being updated, that people have a tendency to kind of get stuck. They start focused, and then the one alert can just throw them totally off. So what's trending on Trending Thursday, and ways to kind of break that cycle. So we're going to give you some great tips on how to shut the negative out. We always say you want to validate those negative feelings, or those things that are bothering you, because if you don't validate them, they get buried under the carpet, and then they manifest into like a nest of good stuff, right? So we want to make sure that we don't ignore what's bothering us, but let it out, put it in its own little compartment, and set it away for the day. And I think when you do that, you really start to develop better habits. I wake up, and my new thing is like playing on some good music to get me going. Now, obviously, when you're living with somebody, they have a different pattern, or could have a different pattern than what you have. Mine, Hubs, happens to turn the news on all the time, which drives me cuckoo. But that's what he likes to do. So, I try to tell him to wind it a little bit, don't watch so much of it, because it doesn't really set for a good mood start of the day. So I get up, and of course, they were sharing, this particular news outlet was sharing what is going on with the person that's occupying the White House, with his latest tweet that he's going to do his best to squish what's going on that Putin has done. And part of accountability in any journey, in any profession, is owning and being accountable for your part in a situation, right? Maybe you're not the whole source of the issue, but you still got to validate, I got to own my ownership part of it, or, what did I do to contribute? And did I offer ways to combat a solution somehow, or did I just add to the problem and I'm still not being accountable? So I'm not going to give it any airtime as far as what he said. Take it from me, he just wants to blame gas prices, everything that's going on in the world, on Putin. But again, I want to say it's probably roughly about 30% of Americans still believe he's doing a good job. And part of that frustration for others, where they get sidetracked, is they try to negate, like, are you serious? Are you not paying attention? Do you know what's going on? So this morning, I decided, well, I'm going to do my part to address this first interaction with the world today. I didn't choose it, but someone had the news on. And when you're combating inflation, I mean, it's pretty basic mathematics if you think about it. Inflation. So how do you combat inflation or high costs rising, right? You have to have a supply. Because when you have that supply, that helps the demand, right? So if you got a positive, that helps the negative. But if you take away the supply, then you're only left with the demand, the negative, the negative, the negative. Well, that's why inflation rises. There's no balance. So for those, this is directed to the roughly 31% of Americans that don't think there's anything wrong with our economy, that don't think there's anything going wrong. In January 2021, see, I like to get stats. So in January 2021, this was at the inauguration. Guess what the inflation rate was? The inflation rate at that point was 1.4%. So that was in January 2021. November of 2021, Biden signs a $1 trillion infrastructure package. Remember the infrastructure package? So the inflation rate now went up to 6.8%. But let's go back to January 1st. What was one of the first things that happened when he took office was he took a big chunk of our supply, which would have been us being independently dependent on ourselves for oil. He took that out of the equation. I'm not going to go into the whole pipeline, everything he did. Everyone by now, if you don't know what he did, then I don't know, have a cup of coffee. I can't believe I just said that. Wake up. So you take that away. So you got to remember that happened first. Okay, so now you get to November of 2020. All right, let's backtrack a little bit. So that happened in January. So it takes away our supply, which was not only good for our economy, it was good for U.S. workers. It was good for supplies with our own manufacturing. They're getting our oil from our own soil. They could deliver goods. Gas prices were in check. People were traveling. You know, we started to open up. March of 2021, he actually signed the first things that was a 1.9 trillion COVID relief fund bill. Remember the COVID relief fund bill? So again, took our supply away. So now inflation rises to 2.6. July of 2021, the Democrats proposed the 3.9 trillion budget plan. So now inflation rate goes from 1.4 to 2.6. Now it's 5.4%. So you can see now in a matter of 6 months, it's gone up 4 points. Started out in January at 1.4. March, it was 2.6. Now July, it's 5.4. Okay. November of 2021, that is when he signed that infrastructure bill. So now it goes from 5.4% to 6.8. And this is in a matter of, you know, what, 10 months, 11 months? Now we go to the current year. Now we're in 2022. February of 2022, obviously that's when Russia invaded Ukraine. The inflation rate, our inflation rate at that point was 7.9%, 7.9. In March of 2022, this is when, you know, now, you know, people start to really notice things are getting high. You know, of course, housing market was already kind of going crazy. And the gas prices really started, everyone noticed like this creepy climb. It was kind of climbing up here and there, but all of a sudden you're really seeing the gas prices climb. So that's when the first introduction of the narrative that Putin was blamed for the gas prices going up. Inflation rate at that point went up to 8.5%. So now we're at 8.5%. That was in March. April of 2022, the rate goes down a tad, 8.3%. And May of 2022, the current inflation rate is now 8.6%. So we go from January of 2021 at 1.4 when he came in to now it's 8.6. You can't blame it all on everybody else. You have to at some point say, what am I accountable for? Did I add value? Did I come up with solutions to combat the problem? Again, supply, demand. You take away all the supply that was all the goodness of what we were doing in our own country. And now you're just left with the demand. It's basic mathematics of how the inflation rate goes up. So when you hear something like that, that's going to throw you off. That's going to get your anxiety level up, because you already know you're feeling it at the pump, you're feeling it at the grocery store. Gosh, when you go out to dinner, you notice the prices are, higher now. And how do you say, ugh, and you, without it letting it consume you? You still have to find your blessings. You validate it. This is what's going on. You know it's true. You block the noise from the people that that say there's nothing going on. Do your own research. These inflation rates are out there to be seen. So it's not like they're, made up percentages. They're not. And then put it aside and say, okay, what can I do better to combat that? So there's a lot of people that are now taking advantage of, they still want to go out and enjoy their lives. And so they should. People are going to happy hours. There's a lot of happy hours. Remember back in the day, there was happy hours all the time. Well, now a lot of restaurants are offering happy hour, the smaller plates. And we talk about this with health and wellness. As you get older, your appetite kind of, I want to say, shrinks a little bit. You don't eat the huge plates anymore. So guess what? Don't deprive yourself. Go out for happy hour where the prices are a little bit cheaper, they're more reasonable. You're still getting that great feeling of going out with your friends and whatnot. And especially where we are, there's tons of them. They're just a lot of fun. And I think a lot of restaurants, to combat their prices and also get people back into going out, they're doing these creative things. Take advantage of doing things maybe during the day that you would normally do at night, like, going to the movies, matinees. There's always having movie night. Pretty much everyone I know has an Amazon account. Have a movie night. Get a movie that you haven't seen in a while. And, maybe if it's free, if it's not, it's $3.99. And have a little movie night, popcorn, whatever, and, make it really festive. Do it that way. Enjoy nature for entertainment that you can do that doesn't cost you anything. Go for a bike ride, go for a hike, go to the beach, go to a playground, play some pickleball, do an outside activity. Those are things that don't cost you money. Take advantage of coupons. Now, I'm kind of like, because of course we've got some certificates for the hotel that we do most of our business with, and they expire, and we're trying to see if we can squeeze them in at the end of the month. But take advantage of offers that you get in the mail. Buy one, get one free. A lot of not only restaurants, but a lot of stores are now doing coupons. Start taking advantage of that. How many of you have a CVS or a Walgreens card? Most people do, right? They offer a lot of different discounts. 30% off this day, 20% off if you buy, one of these items, whatever it may be. So there are ways to make it affordable. And I guess affordable at this point in time is maybe not the right word, but maybe it takes the sting out a little bit. So the blessings are that you're still able to not succumb to the negative side of things because it's out of your control. Jump into what you can control. And then fill your mind with good podcasts, good music, surround yourself with positive people that want to look at the blessings that we currently have and look to the future for that abundance and just full of goodness. What do you think, Jan?
What do I think? Well, I think somebody should not be riding a bike, and I will just say that because it's true. Anyways. Yeah, there's always different ways, that you can involve yourself, but also take yourself out of the equation. Like, for instance, I have a hard time listening to any news source right now, so I have to tune that out. In fact, you're speaking of news alerts. Something came across the other day and Gary said, why is this a news alert? It was something really stupid. I don't remember exactly what it was. And I'm like, because we're so, as a society, it's like the fear of missing out. And then you get news alerts. I've tried as much as possible to make sure that I've gotten rid of any type of, any type of alerts of that nature. And, obviously for me, it's all about doing things that, make you feel good. For instance, everybody knows I love kickboxing. I'm a hot, sweaty mess right now. That feels great. And I have that time for myself to dedicate, and I listen to music, and, this morning it was, 70s, 80s, 90s music. So whatever it is for you, it's like finding that balance that works for you, but also, don't feel that you have to do something just to do it.
Right.
Make it so, think of your blessings, and like, I always say I am blessed and grateful, but I say it in such a different way now, because it now has obviously a lot of different meaning for me. I am blessed and grateful because out of certain things that have transpired, things. Oh, and here we go with the knocking door and soon to be ringing doorbell. Things typically, there's a doorbell.
Yeah, well,
Anyways,
nobody's home at the end.
nobody's home. Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Blessings, great being
Okay.
grateful, blessings.
Blessing. And you know what, and just as a kind of a side part of that, one of our guests that was on last week, Daphne Wells from New Zealand, another guest that we've been trying to, excuse me, to coordinate with, who's from, I believe, Sydney, but it's somewhere in Australia. You finally have her coming on for her pre-podcast chat next week. And she had listened to the podcast we did with Daphne, and they've connected.
Wait a minute, we're having the pre-podcast with Daphne. I think you said her name twice as
Well, Daphne was on last week, and the
Right.
guest that we're having on, we're doing a pre-podcast chat with her next week. She happened to listen to the podcast we did with Daphne.
Right, yeah. I thought you said we had the pre-podcast with Daphne. That's why I was confused.
No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
So those are the things I look at and go, wow, two sisters created something, a ripple effect happened, those two people connected. I don't know. I just think stuff like that is amazing. Now, to some people that may sound, I don't know, woo-woo, I don't know, whatever, but it's those kind of things that maybe if you're feeling a little anxious or whatever, think of those memories, or think of those things that have transpired that gave you that feeling, like this is awesome, and create that ripple effect on your own.
Not only that, I mean, so if it says sounds boo-boo, it's better than cray cray. I'm just
absolutely. And
connection of people is so important. And, you have to look for tools on how to step away from a situation that, whether it's negative, whether it's adding stress to your life, and usually if it's adding stress, there is a way for you to remove it, whether it's turn the TV off, or if your spouse or loved one likes to watch that stuff. I've decided that I'm looking for a little spot, that I could say, put my phone or whatever, and put my earbuds in, and listen to some, so I can still move around. I have the one that I can wear in the pool, so I might have to start out with that one. But that I do have something that can combat listening to that stuff that we know is out there that's blasted, whether it's through social media, whether it's through your emails, text messages. We get text messages from unknown numbers and support this or do that. Just turn the alerts off and say, you know what, those things are out of my control, but I'm going to take care of what I can control. And the only way I can control it is if I block the noise. So just block that nonsense out. It doesn't do any good because you can't do anything about it anyways. You can only control your own little domain.
True. And I do want to point out something about what you said. That little action that you have decided to take to put the earbuds in. Think about that for a moment. That's a little action to do your thing, still be in the environment, but take the clutter away.
Yeah.
So think
That-
about those
That
kind of
noise
things.
is clutter. I agree. Noise is clutter.
It is. In clutter, there's such a thing as obviously, house clutter or whatever, but there's also emotional clutter. There's the news alert clutter. Like that's all clutter. As much as possible, get rid of the clutter. And on that note, Trending Thursday, my name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I am with two
Sisters, and it is Trending Thursday. So you know what? You be the trendsetter. Show others how you are dealing with, share what you're doing with other people, because you're having that conversation with people, right? They're probably feeling the same kind of tension or so just say, you know what, today I decided I'm reading a book, or you know what, I'm putting my earbuds in, I'm going to listen to some good music. I'm going to use this to hold it so I can still dance, I can still fold clothes, I can still do whatever, multitask. But you then are now, guess what you're doing? You're taking a step in the right action, and now you become the trendsetter. How cool is that? Well, you guys have a great trend setting. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget, you can visit us on our website, leave us a voice message, and we would love to hear from you how you are getting through and being the trendsetter of this Trending Thursday. We will see you tomorrow for a fantabulous Friday, where we'll talk about everything that we accomplished all this week, what stepping stones brought us closer to those goals, and we're going to help you do it. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone.